Yo, yo, what up? All right, everybody. How's everybody doing? Hope everybody's having a good day. Um, Still dealing with some mount issues over here, but it's all right. I got it. All right. All right. Well, today's show is sponsored by Foundational Home and Energy for all your energy upgrades. So we thank our sponsors today. We thank everybody in the chat, all our subscribers, all our followers. We appreciate all that. All right. Well, today's topic is people being mistreated in the workplace. It just seems like sometimes when you kind of open up yourself to an agency or corporation or whatever it is, there's just no loyalty anymore. And the higher you get, the less rights you have, it seems like. But that's so far from the truth. Employees are protected more than supervisors, executive directors, stuff like that. They have a bigger, they have a larger role in the company, but it just seems like it's their word against yours. People get attacked. When I say attacked, not like physically, but emotionally. They try to break down. They try to break you down. And when I say attacked, it's not a physical form. I always say it's like a spiritual form, right? Like the hardest part for me is knowing like who God. We're all God's children, right? So like I love everybody in that sense. We're all brothers and sisters in the Lord, right? The hard part for me to decipher is I don't know. It's not for me to understand, but it's like hard to know if the blessing that somebody that's coming at you with petty stuff, if that person has a connection with the Lord and this is their plan, or if like the Lord put me in front of this situation because that's part of their plan. So like, I don't get in the way of other people's journeys, right? Like I try to witness that and understand that like, okay, I understand what's going on to me, but I don't understand what's going on with them and their journeys. So the hardest part for me, guys, is that when I see people and they're attacking you and you feel like you're being attacked, I'm sorry if you feel like you're being attacked or discriminated, whatever you want to call it. Here's an example. I was once on a airline on a flight and I witnessed something. This gentleman that was sitting right next to me asked the stewardess. We both sat down, and our area was dirty. It was dirty. There was trash in the front pockets. Like people were getting off, people were getting on, and the guy said, "Hey, can you throw this?" And he like handed it to her, and she goes, "That's not." The stewardess said this to him. "That's not my job." And the guy says, "Oh, all right. Well, I'm sorry. Well, what is your job exactly?" And her response was this, very viciously said, "I'll get you kicked off this flight. Don't you talk to me like that." And I took a step back and I'm like, wait a minute. He was just asking you to throw trash. I didn't get it. I sat there, and during this, this sequence, she came back with police officers and security to escort this dude off the flight. And I'm like, do I get involved? Like the emotion that ran through this guy's face. Like, what are you talking about? The stewardess said this. He cussed at me and threatened me. I want him off the flight. And I'm like, no, that's not what went down at all. Not at all. And everybody witnessed this. But when you're on a flight, you don't say nothing, because if you witness something, they will kick you off the flight too, because it's like a team thing, right? Like if the stewardess or the stewarder, whatever you call a male stewardess, flight attendant, they will kind of like they team up, and that's fair, right? But this dude did absolutely nothing wrong. And I replayed this thing over and over and over in my head, and I'm like, what happened? I was right next to him walking in, polite. Hello, how are you? Thank you. All right. We both took our seats, no issues, handed her a piece of trash, and she freaked out. Maybe she was having a bad day. But like after replaying it, this dude was polite, courteous, you know, was like, I am not leaving this flight. I didn't do nothing wrong. And the cops came and they were like, if you don't get off, we're going to have to remove you. And I'm like, for what? What did this guy do? And so, long story short, the guy eventually got up and he got out. But I'm like, man, for whatever reason, that woman did not like this person for whatever reason. And it had nothing to do with what he said, period. But something aggravated her to a point of hatred. It was so bad that I think her soul was attacking. She didn't like his soul or his light, whatever you want to call it. And she attacked him. And I'd never seen that form of like I've seen hatred before, but this was like out of right field, never seen before. Like, oh my gosh, what's going on? So this dude got attacked spiritually. Okay. Spiritually. And I just replayed it over and over. And I'm like, this guy, I even told him at the end, that guy did nothing wrong. I sat there and he asked this person to throw a piece of trash, and your staff snapped at him immediately. And he did everything right. He followed, he said, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. You must be having a bad day. And she didn't take kind of that at all. So, there is those attacks, people. Those attacks are going to happen, and you just got to be ready for them. What do you do? Like, I've seen people get physical over this kind of stuff, and like, you got to kind of recognize where you're at. People do have bad days, understood, but it's like when you are under attack constantly, spiritually, man, it's tough. It's a tough pill to swallow, because you need to protect yourself, right? You need to protect your soul. You need to, you need to protect your soul at all costs, right? That's what we're protecting. But like, that dude got attacked, and same thing in the workplace. I've seen it. I've been an owner. I've been a manager. I've been a supervisor. I've been an employee. I am an employee, and people come at you for their own reasons. And like, to be objective is a healthy work relationship to me. And I appreciate employees that are objective, because it keeps people on their toes. Like, all right, well, what rules did he break? What rules do you break? And the only thing they can say is a negative attitude. Well, let me tell you something about negativity, okay? Negativity reflects an attitude in leadership. But nobody ever looks at leadership. It's always an employee's fault, right? Like, I wanted to come on Random Lives and give the message of God. Oh, well, thank you, Sarah, for the message. We appreciate that. So my conversation today is all about protecting your light, right? The person you are inside. Because that's what's being attacked. Some people don't like your physical appearance. Like, pay attention. Like, I pay attention a lot to my surroundings. I'm aware, because I like to enjoy, God's creations. One thing that I do, the rooms you're in, you like kind of scan and try to get a feel for the room. That's natural, right? You want to know who's there. And like, there's just sometimes where you get that feeling, you're like, man, there's something in here. Somebody's here. I don't feel comfortable. Whatever it is, we've all been there. That eerie feeling, the hair on your neck on your neck, if you have hair on your neck, stands up, or the hair on your ears or whatever stands up. But I'm like the type of guy that just likes to protect himself and try not to put myself in those situations. And when I have been involved in those situations, I've handled them correctly at times, but then other times I probably had dropped the ball. That's the thing, is like, we as people are not perfect. And then once you make a mistake, an employer expects you to be perfect. But that's so far from the truth. We make more mistakes than we do succeed because we learn from those mistakes. And then when we start succeeding and have a goal and have ambition and realize where things are going, and then you start vocalizing your opinion, well, if the leader of that team doesn't want to go that direction, then you're going to have conflict, right? And it has nothing to do with disrespect, but it's just the way they want to run their team. If you're a coach, you want your team to do what you want your team to do. Here's where it's conflicting, because when you play at a higher level, you have coaches, you have general managers, you have owners, you have stakeholders, you have investors. The general manager and the coach usually kind of butt heads on what the team wants to do. But if you gel those two together, the general manager and the coach, and they're all on the same page, then you win championships. Like, I don't know if you guys have ever seen The Last Dance, but the Chicago Bulls won 3 championships, lost 2 years, and then won 3 more, right, with Michael Jordan. Well, not everybody liked the general manager. Everybody hated that guy. Hated him. But Phil Jackson was the coach. He knew how to manage the players. He knows how to manage players. He was a player. Managing the general manager, you see it like with the Dallas Cowboys, right? Jerry Jones, probably one of the best ever to be as far as general manager is concerned, or general manager / owner. I mean, I think he has every right of the direction of his team. He owns the team. He should have a say. His coach should want to do what this guy's paying him to coach, right? Like, you expect him to be on the same page that you are. However, sometimes those two egos don't mix. So when you have a team, it's not always going to gel. That goes for the workplace, a basketball team, a baseball team. There's going to be one guy, maybe 2, 3 girls, whoever, softball, volleyball, whatever it is, that just don't get along. That doesn't mean that the team's not going to be successful, because you need the two, right? They have different approaches to the game. And that's the way I see it. I have a different approach. I have a different approach to the things I say, the things I do, the way I handle things. I'm not going to be perfect. And if I made a decision at that time, and if it was the wrong decision, then fine. I'll deal with the consequences of that decision. Whether it was a good decision or bad decision, no matter if it was a great decision, sometimes that has consequences too. Because you make a great decision, then you got to keep putting yourself at a higher level. When you get treated unfairly and your voice isn't being heard, that's something that's being blocked, right? There's a message, there's a communication message there that's nobody wants to hear. Somebody doesn't like you. Whether they want to continue to work with you is another thing. Like, that's why unions exist, right? Like, unions protect employees. Directors and executive directors protect supervisors. They need them to be on the same page, because the direction of the team or the agency is flowed down from, owner, director, president, CEO, all the way down the chain. That's why those guys get paid so much, because they need these other leaders to be in place to handle the spider web or the tree of employees or people. Now, dynamic works like this. You need an aggressive player. You need a player that does the things that nobody else wants to do. Let's just use basketball. You need a rebounder, somebody that's going to get in there, dive, jump on the floor, make things happen, get people the ball, do whatever it takes, save, dive, jump balls, just being aggressive, make the correct call, like get the fouls, run the plays, correct the plays. You need somebody like that. Then you need somebody that can actually score, right? You need somebody that the other team's focused on at all times. And then you got the role players. So of course you can't win a championship by yourself, but you can orchestrate a championship with one person, right? You build a team around that person, but you need different dynamics. And once you start becoming that different dynamic person, it's either conflicting to the owner or the manager or the supervisor or whoever is managing the team. They don't like that because they want you to fall in place and they want you to do what they want you to do. No problem. People do it all the time. You got to put your differences aside and run a successful team. It's all about the team. But when you have somebody that's in total control that doesn't want to relinquish any of that control, then there's a problem because you know what? Like, what are the employees under you doing? They want to get better. They want to move up. They want to learn. They want to be able to have a little bit of freedom and say, you know what? I got this. I want to make your job easier. I'm that kind of guy. Hey, what can I do to make your job easier? Is there anything I can do to help you? But then you make a couple of mistakes and then the firestorm comes down, right? Because they're so used to your perfection or your hustle or your work ethic. And then when you challenge their work ethic and it's like they don't like to hear that. So unions protect employees, owners and directors or CEOs or whatever you want to call them at the highest level protect the supervisors and the leadership. But if you don't have that union in place, then you just have all these people, this structure against all the employees, which the employees make the agency, right? And probably at some point, the supervisors, directors, owners were an employee. So they should understand, like, give them the autonomy. It's not like we're recreating the wheel, but some of these things that we've been doing are outdated. The fear of AI is like a big thing, right? How is AI going to affect employment? Well, it hasn't really affected it all that much. I think it's a productivity thing. If we can have a system in place to respond to things, to make sure that I crossed all my T's, dotted my I's. It's like when spell check first came out. Oh my gosh, we're going to be ignorant society because spell check's out. Well, that never happened. It actually, I still get confused on piece and pieces. Like sometimes where the I and the E or whatever and the C comes after, it's like, it's an elementary school. But now with like, when you're typing an email or doing a search, it's like generating these words for you. And it makes it faster, right? We're like, we're being productive, no problem. I don't see how AI is going to take over these human jobs. Right now, plumbers, HVAC, roofers, carpenters, these people are going to be the highest paid people pretty soon. Like it's pretty close right now. I know some plumbers. I know some electricians. I know contractors right now that are making a lot of money because this trade is disappearing, right? Everybody wants to get into the tech side. Everybody wants to be in the office. But if you guys are looking for something to do and be successful and have a good career with no end in sight, I'm telling you, these are the things you need to look at. Be an electrician, be a plumber, be a contractor, be a framer, stucco, concrete. All these things are never going away, people. We are growing as a civilization. We need housing, right? We need these things. Plus the housing stock that is already in existence is getting pretty old. Google the age of your housing stock where you're from right now, and it'll tell you. You might be 50, 60 years of housing stock, right? That's the age. But then in other places, you got 100, in these rural areas. Like these houses are being handed down from generation to generation to generation. These houses are staying in families, right? It's rare that they sell them. They keep them. Usually they'll sell them to a cousin. They'll rent them to an auntie. Something. They'll keep that house in the family. So it's generational housing. But we need new housing that's affordable. That's affordable for people that are just starting out. I don't know if you guys have seen some of the house prices. It's not the price of the house, it's the interest rate on the mortgage payment. If you buy a $300,000 house, don't quote me on this, but this is what I just heard. $300,000 for a house for a family that's just starting. Let's just say you got married, a couple just gets married, they want to have some kids in the house. You need at least a 2 or 3 bedroom to do that, right? Well, that 2 or 3 bedroom is going to be, let's just say, minimum starter. There's no starter homes nowadays. It might be an older house, 50 years old. They want $350,000. You go to the bank. The interest rate's like 7 or 8%. The mortgage payment on that? I can't do the math, but let's just say it's like $3,200 a month for a starting family. I mean, phew, that's your mortgage broke, right? Like you are paying more on your mortgage than anything else. You're going to be broke. Even if you do have a good job, that payment is for 30 years, people. Sometimes they don't have a fixed rate. They have these other loans. I don't know. I'm not a loan guy. But I've heard situations where these people are getting into these loans and 2 years into it, they're filing for foreclosure because the interest is just kicking their butts for a starting family. They can't. What do? Do you choose your mortgage where you live? Of course, that's your number one bill, right? You pay that one first. That's the one. You need a place to live. But if you're hungry and you don't have money to buy food, what's the point, right? So even if you go into the renters market, right now, I know the renters market's crazy. It's just crazy. It's nuts. I've heard 1-bedroom studios, $1,650 a month, and then you have to pay all your utilities. For a single person, that's probably 1 paycheck, if not 2. And then look, whatever's left, you get to buy some groceries. So it's just, I know it's hard out there, and it's interest. It's the interest payments that we get into. So like, that's another thing you have to worry about when you're in a position like, you have that kind of job where I'm in the office environment. There's other people in the office. There's just, we know we all went to school, right? What happens when a click happen when you get a bunch of people in a room? They click up. People click up in office spaces. They do, right? Like that's just what they do. They're comfortable with this person because they have the same interests. They talk, they drink, they like to party, whatever it is. But like when you're the guy or the person in the office that doesn't do those things, that doesn't click up, that doesn't have any office interest, outside interest does not pertain to them. They don't drink, they don't smoke. They have a family, they have kids. They don't care about the gossip. They block it out. But that happens everywhere, right? So, but that's just what happens is like people click up, people have these assumptions of people. And like, once you get on somebody's bad side, it's over for you because now they're making up stuff about you because it's just not true. Like negative conversation, I avoid at all cost, right? I don't want to hear it. And I don't want to talk about people. And if I need to talk about somebody, I'll make sure that they're in the room to defend themselves, right? Don't plot on your neighbor because you're unhappy with something they did. Even when they're coming at you. Like, all right, well, that's fine. Let them say whatever they want to say. But I'm not going to attack you the way you attack me. I'm going to be like, well, I've been in that situation. They're not here. I'm not going to say anything about that. I want about them moving on. Like, what do I need to do? Right? Like, so just be careful. Be careful of your surroundings. Know your spiritual environment. Have the Lord in your heart all day long. Because once you let your guard down, physically, spiritually, that's when you're going to be attacked. right? Like when you're not prepared. So just make sure that you're aware. Look at people in their eyes when they're passing by. Not a scary look, but just kind of like, no, you'll see it, you'll feel it. We're all different, right? Like we all have energy. We all have an energy. We all have a light. How bright is your light? Know how bright your light is. What offends people about you? It's not your physical appearance. It's your light. It's your energy, right? They feel that. They feel the love. They probably feel some sort of like aura about you. Whatever it is, whatever your light puts out, they don't like it, right? I don't know if you guys have ever had that situation with what you guys are going through, but like your energy level and your light portrays bright. And if you have a bright light, please just shine it. It's not a cocky thing. It's not an arrogant thing. It's a spiritual thing, right? It's your soul. It's the way we light up. I light up a room. People have said, you know, your smile can light up a room. When I was younger, that's all I used to hear because I have dimples. And I used to, I'm like, I would always think about that and like, that's my gift, right? Shine your gift, shine your light. Don't let anybody put your light out because this is what we're here for. That smile, that lights up a room, that's your light, right? And it might not even be a good, like you don't even have to have dimples or a good, set of teeth. Be who you are. We got to be who we are, right? Like, stop trying to be somebody else. I'm never going to be you. I don't want to be you. I want to be who I am. I've accepted who I am. I'm grateful for everything that he has given me. Everything. The toes, my toenails, my ingrown toenail, right? I get that every now and then. An ear in my ear, a hair growing out of my ear. I think that stuff's funny. You know what I mean? Like, wow, I got a hair growing out of my ear. Or I don't know, like nose hair. You got white nose hairs, right? Like whatever it is that the Lord gave you, be happy with. I used to be. I'm a really light talker. I don't like to raise my voice. I do not, right? But when I'm defending myself, my light shines, right? So of course I'm gonna be aggressive. My shoulders perk up. I cock my back, my shoulders up, my head back. Okay, well I'm protecting my light. The thing I value the most, my physical, whatever. The thing I protect the most is my soul and my light. Don't mess with those two things, right? Don't. And you should do the same. Not saying, well, I'm not telling you what to do, but like, know what's important to you. And the physical, when, like, how are you going to judge somebody by the clothes they wear, or by the hat they have on, or the glasses they wear, or the shoes? We're all different. We all have different styles. Let that style shine, man. Just be yourself. And I get attacked the most when my light says, you know what, you've been dim for so long, it's time to shine. And then people can't handle that. People can't handle my light. And it's okay. It's not meant for you to handle. There's other people that it's meant for. My kids, my wife, my light shines bright in the people I just mentioned's lives. I love that. That's what my light was meant for. And when you realize how important you are and how you're, hey, we're all weird, dude. I'm weird. Why am I wearing a beanie? Well, it's because I'm bald. Right now I'm bald. My head's cold. I'm not used to being bald. So like, well, it's 100. Well, it's not 100 degrees right now. It's like 74 degrees outside. I'm inside right now, but like my head's cold because I'm bald. Who cares? Like, what is that? What is your opinion of you? Somebody's calling you weird. Let them. That's their opinion. Fine. What's weird about me? Everything that you think is weird about me, the Lord gave to me, right? So by you saying that I'm weird is insulting God. If you look at it, we're all God's children. We're created in his image. Let them say whatever they want to say about you. Because you know what? They're not insulting you. They're insulting God. They're insulting God because God created. We're created in God's image, right? He gave me this. There's things internally that I have to deal with, and I'm blessed and I'm grateful for those things because it makes me the person I am. Well, we get weird with love. Well, love's one of those emotions, right? It is. And it's a natural emotion. It's okay. It's okay to have those feelings. How do you know like that's a weird feeling? People get weird because it's why we're here. We're here to love. In the Bible it mentions love, agape, over 100 times. And we're here to love each other and we're here to connect. We're not here to judge each other. We don't have that ability. We have judicial systems in place, and that's different. But I'm telling you, shine your light. Shine your light, and you'll notice that people will treat you different because they think you're being arrogant. But no, it's not. You are chosen for that reason. Whether it's weird, whether it's funny, whether it's, I have chubby cheeks, my ears are pointy, my nose is pointy, like I look like I have a double chin, whatever it is, shine bright. Let it shine, man, because the Lord gave this to us. Period. Love that. All right? Love yourself. Love your internal, because it's not about your physical. Now, if you're struggling health-wise, I always suggest, look, this is the body that I was given. I need to take care of it. And I struggled with that for a long time because look, I love burgers. I love fast food restaurants. I love pizza. And not saying that all that stuff's bad for you, but when I was doing it every single day and topping it off with 2 scoops of ice cream from like a Baskin Robbins quart size that I get, Jamocha almond fudge, there was a problem there. I wasn't fueling my soul with that. Your body needs nutrition, right? Like we need to fuel our bodies with nutrition. I'm not a doctor, don't quote me, but I'm just saying that works for me. And nutrition for me is like vitamins, fruit. I eat a lot of fruit. Now I eat a lot of, I don't eat a lot of breads anymore. Like just stuff, know what your body can handle. Like we're all different. We all have different metabolisms, right? We all come from different places. So like some people can eat meat, some people can't eat bread, some people can't eat fruit, some people are allergic to avocados, some people are allergic to peanuts, some people are allergic to milk, they're lactose intolerant. Jamocha almond fudge is my favorite ice cream. In fact, I went to Baskin Robbins today. It's an ice cream joint here. I went at 10:30 and it was closed, but it's because I was working on a project at the house, and me and the wife stopped at Home Depot to pick up some materials, and there's a Baskin Robbins right next to, like, perfect spot. Well, it was closed because it was 10:20, so we ended up going to Sonic and getting a slushie and some tater tots. So like, yeah, I still indulge in the things that the world has to offer, but like at a minimum, because once I start doing it in abundance, then that's when it becomes a problem, and then you start getting unhealthy. But that's true for anything. Like if you like to drink, let's recognize that. Okay, well, I had a glass of wine at dinner. That's fine. I had a glass of wine at lunch. Okay. But when you have 1, 2, 3, 5, 10, well, that's a little bit much, right? We don't want to do things in excess. Again, I'm not you're not your preacher, but I'm just telling you that's what works for me. I don't drink. It's just not something I used to, and it's just not something I do anymore. Yes, Jamocha is my you know what my favorite was chocolate almond, but it's like impossible to find anymore without like with the marshmallows. When they put marshmallows in it, it's called Rocky Road. I just don't care for the Rocky Road. I wasn't a big coffee guy either. And now, like, I drink coffee and I eat Jamocha almond fudge. So yeah, I love it. But anyway, the point of my message today is let your light shine. Okay. If they don't like the way you respond, it's okay. Not everybody's meant to like you, but your light is meant to shine. And if your light's shining, that's all that you need to do. If somebody calls you weird, somebody calls you fat, somebody calls you too skinny, you look funny, why do you wear glasses? Your shoes have holes. Why do you wear that stuff? Hey, That's who I am. Leave me alone. Let me be. I'm letting you be. You dress different than me is weird to me, but I'm never going to tell you that because that's who you are. That's who you want to be. You have the right to do that here in America. Like, you could be whatever you want to be, but don't insult me when I'm looking at you with the same disdain. But the difference between me and you is I don't care that you want to be who you want to be. I'm grateful that you are doing what you're doing or dressing like that, right? Like, I don't know your story. I don't know what you've been through. If that's all you got, why am I going to make fun of that? In my heart, I'm like, man, that's awesome. To me, I could wear the same pair of jeans to work every single day, the same t-shirt, the same jacket every single day. It wouldn't bother me, but it bothers some people, right? I mean, I make sure that I wash them. I smell decent. You know, my wife makes sure I smell. My clothes are washed, and I'm a creature of habit. I like the same things, right? I like to play the same golf course. I like to go to the same sushi restaurant. I like to go to the same store all the time. You know, and if I move, I have to find a different place closer to where I'm at, and then I create that habit. So it's like we're creatures of habits. Just make sure that we minimize the abundance of what we're doing, right? And love people. And just, if somebody's wearing something that you don't like, well, don't look at them. Don't comment on it. Yes, we have our opinions, but it's like they probably look at us the same way. I might be wearing a 3-piece suit. Somebody's wearing all gray with a black and white beanie. Well, good for them. You know, like that's what they want to wear. It's so cruel in like school, like elementary school, and when you guys have been to elementary school or high school, like how people click up and say these things to you and they tease you for what you got. It's like, what you don't realize is that the Lord blessed me with this. So what you're saying to me is that my blessings from God are not good enough for you. But this is what I've been blessed with. So I accept those things. I've accepted those things my whole life. You know, I ran weary. You know, I got weak. I got weary, but the Lord, he gave me the strength, right? Like he said, no, rest and let's do this. And that was my message was, all right, well, it didn't go your way. It's because it was your way. It wasn't my way. And I got out of the way. So once you get out of the way of it, and allow it, and you open up and you allow it, then that's who you become, right? I mean, I had all kinds of dreams. I had all kinds of goals. Just didn't, some things just didn't work out. You know, now I pray for health. I pray for my kids' health. That's what's important to me. Not my physical ability. And I get lost in that sometimes because I get frustrated. You know, the Lord gave me what he gave me. So with that said, do what you can with it. Like, I'm not a professional golfer and I'm a good golfer. And there's times where I question myself and it's like, dude, you're just playing. It's okay. Be human. You're human, dude. You're going to make mistakes. It's not a game of it's a game of perfection, but it's like, you're not going to be perfect all the time. I allowed that. And I use these opportunities when I'm out there. I use that opportunity because I walk the golf course. I use that opportunity to reflect on things that I did during the week. I pray, and I'm out there. Sometimes it's crazy. Like this last couple of weeks, I've been playing golf and I've been on the golf course by myself. Like there's nobody behind me. There's nobody in front of me. I pass a few people, and I'm out there just all by myself. And that's rare because golf is so busy, but it's been windy and people don't like to play golf in the wind, but I don't care. I'll go out there in a little bit of wind and I'll play. But we have a lot of dust in our state. So like when we get these windstorms, it's, oh my gosh, you can't even see the clouds or you can't even see the sky. You can't even see the mountain. We have mountains in the background. It gets so dusty. So like, it's hard to be out there because your face is full of dirt. it's in your teeth. You know, you hit the golf ball, it doesn't do what you want it to do, but at the same time, it's what I love to do. Anyway, the point of the message today is be your light, let it shine bright. And, you know, if somebody's trying to dim your light, recognize that. Why are you being why am I in this position? Why? All the positive things that you've done to this point, and one or two things that you've done negative after years of service is being the main focus. It's never, hey, 4 years of good service, and then you do one or two things that are not up to your standards. Well, I'm a human. I fall short to the glory of God every single day. I have thoughts in my head, right? We all do. We have we have to drive in traffic, right? Like there's stress, there's anxiety, like we fall short. It's okay. We got to repent from that. And when I repent, I feel better. Like I take a different route to work because I try to avoid in stressful situations anxiety. It takes me 30 more minutes longer sometimes, but I'm in a state where I can listen to like my favorite podcaster. You know, I listen to a bunch of different you know, spiritual ones, and I listen to government ones. Because I'm involved, you know, like I want to be involved, I want to be up to date, and I want to hear both sides of things. You know, I don't make assumptions based off of just one. Do research, right? Like, just don't. The first thing you hear, don't think it's the right thing. All right, well, I heard this. Let me verify that. That's the way I look at it. Like, I even ask, you know, I'll sit down and I'll talk to my wife about that all the time. I'm like, what do you think about this? You know, we had a great conversation last night. We stayed up till like 2 a.m, discussing just, you know, life and things that are going on in the world. And it was just the best time, you know, like, get somebody else's opinion. It doesn't have to be, you know, it doesn't have to be your wife if you're not married or if you're not in a relationship. It could be a friend. It could be a mentor. But here's my thing. I don't put my trust in men. Look at my channel. Go to my shorts and look at my scriptures in there. It says it very clear in the Bible. Do not put your trust in men. Put your trust in me, which is Jesus, right? And I've put my trust in people, and every time that I have, it's kind of backfired on me. But I'm never going to stop. I'm going to open up my trust to people because we're God's creatures, right? We're God's creations. So at some point, like, how do I know the Lord didn't send that person to me and for me to open up to him about this situation that I'm going through, right? But know whose table you're sitting at. Know whose table you're sitting at. Don't give people the fuel or the fire they need to, like, you don't know what other people's intentions are. You don't know what they're praying for, like, or what their intentions are with that information. I'm a private guy, but I let go of a couple of things just now. Jamoke almond fudge, golf, right? And so, I mean, I have some trust, right? And I allowed myself to give you guys my favorite ice cream, give you guys my favorite, like, my light. It burns bright, baby. My light's always going to burn bright. I'm never going to let anybody shut my light down and make me think that there's something wrong with me. Yes, I am dealing with things in my life. Yes, I have challenges in my life. Yes, I have these things going on in my life. But you know what? What I do have too is I do have that connection with Jesus. Every day, I'm making that connection with him. And I thank him every day. So look, if other people have a connection with Jesus and they have their journey, I'm not going to get in the way of that. It's not going to be me that gets in the way of their journey. So if it's that person that's coming at you negatively, then let them come at you, because you don't know if that's their journey or that's what they have to go through to find their peace. right? So recognize that too. It's okay. Now, if they're trying to physically hurt you, then that's different. But if they're trying to hurt your spirit, you don't know where that's coming from. You don't know what people's relationships are with the Lord or what connections they have. Just recognize it, because we all have a journey. We all pray for something, right? That's what I struggle with, is knowing that this person could be on a journey from, or on a, on a path from God on their own. I don't want to get in the way of that. So that's why I accept a lot of things. I swallow a lot of things because I'm like, well, it could be their journey. It could be something that they need to go through. And I'm just the messenger in this situation. So, well, however you look at it, Miss Sinful, is that what did I say that right? Sorry, I can't really see. My glasses are not meant for a cell phone. Yeah. Well, it could be. I mean, how do you believe? Like Jesus had prophets, right? So, yeah. I mean, however it is, however you see your journey, your connection, however you make that connection. I'm not here to say it's not right. I don't know. That's up to you to decide how you feel inside. If that's the way you want to go and make that connection, then fine. I can't tell you if it's right or wrong. That's not what I ever do. Just a perfect example of that's your journey. If that's the journey you want to go on, or if you want to go after, relate to a prophet, cool. Right on. Do research. If that's the way you make your connection to the Lord, fine. I'm not here to judge you. I appreciate the comment, I like that. It's not for me to judge or understand. It's for me to just, value that. I value that comment. I value that because we're all different, We're all different. We all think different. But do you have that connection that you need? So anyway, I appreciate the time. I appreciate the thumbs up. It's been a good day. I went and watched the Mario movie today with one of my kids. We went to go watch it on Saturday, and one of the kids got sick, so I wasn't able to go. I stayed back. I let the wife and the other kids go, but I took me and the kid that was sick. We went and watched it right after school, and I thought it was an amazing movie. I don't like cartoon movies, but I've liked both Marios. I guess because I grew up playing Mario, and like this one was a little bit more advanced. Like I didn't know some of the characters in there, but like it was still like cool because they had some of the background music and stuff like that. But anyway, shots out, love and peace. I appreciate the comments. I appreciate the thumbs up. Please like and subscribe. Follow the channel. Check out the shorts. We appreciate the sponsor, Foundational Home. We appreciate all that you've done. Again, we all have a journey, right? We all have a place. Let your light shine bright, people. Let it shine. Don't let anybody turn off your light. And if your light's dimming, find a way to get it back, because our light is who we are, people, right? All right, man. Nothing but love. We'll talk to you guys later.